Good morning everyone. Right, happy new year. It is now 2021 and I am about to start the restoration of my Mk3 Cooper S. Forgive me for what I'm wearing. I'm actually wearing an old race suit. I find normal sort of overalls uncomfortable to wear. I've got 3 sets and they're either too short in the leg and arm, and if I buy a bigger size they're too baggy. So I've got 2 race suits which I use obviously for the track days. This is an old one, I'm just going to recycle it. I find them comfortable to wear. And I'm just going to see how it goes. The other one I've got is my newer one, but that's gone all bobbly, so I'm going to replace that at some point. The difference between this one and the old one, the new one, or newer one, the newer one is fireproof, this one isn't. So yeah, I'm just recycling, so I may look a bit odd, I may look like I'm going racing, but I'm not. I'm actually going to use it through the process restoring the Cooper S. So, a bit about the car. Obviously it's a Mk3 Cooper S, looks pretty standard. The build date of this one was 3rd of December 1970, registered 11th of January 1971. It was last restored in 1996-97, at which point it had it was taken back to bare metal. It had new front wings, new A panels, new doors, floors were all intact, didn't need any work doing to them apparently. But as I take you around the car in a bit, you'll notice it's got overseals. So although it looks like it doesn't need restoration, it ran out of MOT during the summer, and just through poking around, I did wonder why it had overseals, and so just a bit of poking around I managed to put a screwdriver through the seal and floor because of rust. So you know me, I don't like rust, so I'm gonna strip it right down, get it shot blasted, so I can see where the rest of the rust is. It looks pretty good, to be honest. You'll see that when we walk around, but the main concern is obviously the overseals, what that's hiding, and just in general there's just little rust spots coming through here and there. And to be honest, I mean, I'm no great spray painter, but some of the paint on this is absolutely rough as hell, and I'll show you that when I start doing a walk around of it. So yeah, so the car had some new panels. It's been sprayed okay. It looks quite good in the arches, the boot, underside. When the car was restored in 96-97, it had the engine was rebored to 1293, and the engine is actually painted green, when I think originally it should have been black. I'll talk about the engine when I do a walk around. So it's had 8 former keepers on number 9. It was in Mini World magazine 2013, and which I've got a folder here of all the bits and pieces. I bought the car in 2014 from a Jason Adams, I think it was in Surrey. He'd actually had it since 2012, and he bought it from a guy in Ireland. From what I can see from the history I've got, it was in Ireland for a few years. Before that, it was based mainly around sort of Essex area. And so I've when I bought the car, I read up on it. It was a car that I wanted as part of my collection, and I've read all the stories on it. It was you know, the fast car. It was one of the best cars, or minis, around of its time. And so I bought it, say 2014, and drove it home, and my expectations of what it should have driven like were not met. Driving home, I had to go on the motorways. I couldn't really do above 60-65 miles an hour without sort of vibration coming right through the car, through the chassis, through the sort of gear stick, and I was surprised by that and disappointed. So I had it for a year. I drove it on and off, took it to a few shows, and it was just, I was just underwhelmed with it. Just something didn't seem right, but I just kept driving it. Then I had issues with the carbs. It wouldn't drive well. It wouldn't start well sometimes. And 2016, I just thought, look, I've had enough of this. The car is better. The car should drive better than this. And so I'd had previous engines from Swiftune built. By then I'd already had the race car engine built, and my other car, Rufus, that had a 1380 engine built by Swiftune. And I contacted Nick Swift at Swiftune and said, look, I've got a Mk3 S. There's something wrong in the engine. It vibrates a lot, and I want to have it rebuilt. So it went off to Swiftune. The SP for him was, I wanted it to be as original as possible, and keep a lot of its sort of original features, parts, but it had been rebored to 1293, and so he said, well, I can't do anything with that other than making it or reboring it to a larger size, but I didn't want that. I wanted it to be close as original, so I actually paid extra to have the engine board and sleeved, so now it's back at 1275. The crankshaft was honed, and whatever they do with the crankshaft, and what he found when it was reground and stuff was it wasn't balanced properly, and that was what the vibrations that were coming through the chassis and so on. And so he obviously did the crankshaft. He put an SW5 cam in it, obviously rebored it, put the sleeves in, made it 1275 again, and that's really all we did. He'd obviously changed pistons, con rods and stuff like that, and just generally kept things as much as original as possible, but giving me a bit of extra coke. And so I've got the engine back from him December 2017, and it's been in the car ever since, and it's been a lovely car to drive, absolutely amazing. I'll show you the engine spec a bit later on. The only downside from the engine is recently there's something gone on with the carb, so it starts, it's just not fueling properly, so I think the carbs need sending off to be refurbed. Other than that, it drove beautifully. So I had this issue through the summer, and the MOT had run out. I found the hole in I put the hole in the seal, it's obviously not going to go for another MOT. Although it's MOT exempt, all my cars would always have MOTs on them regardless. So I've decided, I mean, I knew it had overseals, so I always knew I would restore the car. And I don't do it by half, so it will be stripped down, shot blasted, and then we can see what's wrong with it and we go on from there. So just what I have with the car, or what I got with the car, with some history, it does have a heritage certificate of sorts. Apparently they didn't keep much info from the 70s to present date, so I have a certificate from British Motor Industry Heritage Trust. Just outlines confirmation of the build date. It was built at Longbridge in 1970. It's got the original chassis number which matches, built by British Leyland, but that's all the information I have from them. So it was in Mini World in 2013. I've got photos of the previous restoration, which I'll give these to Keith so we can sort of put them up so you can see what was sort of done. And then the most interesting thing I have, which I've not seen before in any of the cars I've bought before or since the Cooper S, is a little orange book or yellow book, and in it is just someone has gone to the effort of every time they went out in the car, they wrote down the date, the mileage, the amount of miles they did, where they went. And so this was from the 14th of June 1984, and he kept that going, obviously probably until he sold it, to 23rd of September 1985. I'll just see if I can get that on camera for you, 2 secs. So you can see it had 20,000 miles on it when the guy bought it and started using it. And just every bit of mileage he did. Got a speedo change there. I've not seen this before or after on any cars. And I wish that the owners after that had continued that, but they didn't. But so yeah, that was a nice touch getting that with the car. It shows some of the history. So yeah, interesting stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just get the car up and spin it round. I'm limited with space at the moment because I haven't got enough room. So yeah, I'm going to jack it up, spin it round, and then I'm going to put it on jacks. And then the first job I'm going to do is have a walk round of it, just show you, what the condition is like in most of the areas. And then I'm going to take the engine out and then start the strip down. Right, let's start with the engine. So yeah, like I said, it was rebuilt by Swiftune in 2016. Got it back in 2017. Now, one of the big things I ask Nick at Swiftune is when my engines come back, they don't leak oil. So I don't know what happened with this one, but as you can see, this one's leaking quite a lot, really. So when I take this out, I'm just going to find where it's leaking from. I'm probably going to maybe repaint the engine, definitely the clutch housing and so on, just I think we've had issues with brake and clutch fluid, and that's caused the paint to come away. So yeah, I'll take the engine out. Obviously I will send the carbs off for a complete refurb. I think it's there's a place called SU Carbs that have said that they do that. You'll notice there's no engine number on there. I do have the original engine number, and that is on the logbook, the V5, but obviously it's not, although it's the original engine, it's not, it's been rebuilt, so I've not put that on there. I probably won't put it on there. I've got receipts, so yeah. So engine bay, it's obviously quite compact in here, a bit like an Aero turbo really, a little bit more space I suppose. We do have obviously commission number, don't know what that is. I'll find out what that is. Front panel number, I've got the FE number on the radiator cowl thing there. I believe I do have the FE the FF numbers on the floor, but yeah, so that's the engine bay. I'm going to shut the bonnet down in a minute and just take you around the rest of the car. So the Mk3 S, very understated car. It looks like a Mini 1000 of in the 1970s. There's nothing really on it that would make you think it was a Mk3 S until you get to the back. That's in gear. So obviously it's got the Mini Cooper S badge on the back, and obviously the twin tanks. So let's boot open. Yeah. So boot lid looks okay. Inside the boot is good. It's debatable whether I get that blasted or not. Probably will, you know me. So yeah, it's pretty clean in the boot, and it's had no panels from what I can tell. Generally going around it, it's very difficult to see. I don't know whether you can pick that up or not. There's very light scratches, and they are underneath the top coat of paint. In the arches, it's all nice and clean. And then we have the overseals. You can see the weld line. I don't know why they did that. You can see some rust coming through there. As I move along, it's not too bad. A little bit of rust sort of coming through there. This side's not as bad as the other side from what I can tell. There's a little rust bubble there. Door gaps are all good. It's had new doors, don't forget. A panels all good. There's a little bit of rust coming through here, little nibble there. And then we get to the scuttle and wing joints. So we've got some rust bubbles just coming through here. You can see for scuttle to wing lines, they are really good. Very tight, maybe too tight, but you can see a bit of rust coming through underneath there. So I don't know whether they use seam sealer or not, but there's obviously signs of rust coming through there. So it has had new wings. And then we come round to the front. We've got a bit of rust coming through here, a little bit here. There's some chips of paint here. That was I went to Bewley in 2015, and we broke down, and so I had to be towed by my other Mini, which we were being towed on the hard shoulder, and obviously got a lot of stone chips. So the front end don't look too bad. Obviously it's got the correct grille. Again, stone chips here. There's a few little bits of rust coming through. Nothing major, but if I'm gonna strip it down, I wanna get it sorted properly. I think the front panel is generally okay. There's a few sort of rust bubbles here. Now the bonnet is in good condition, and I'll see if you can see this. And you see those lines. They are sanding lines, and they are all over the bonnet. I don't know whether you can see them or not. I'll go slowly, you might better see them. I don't know if this is being picked up, so but yeah, the deep scratches, and I didn't notice it when I bought it. It was out in the sunshine. Well, I say sunshine, it was a bit overcast. But I suppose the first time I noticed it when I brought it into here and I was polishing it, it was more apparent then. So again, little bits of rust here and here, just little bubbles. Hopefully they're just surface. The usual places really. Signs of rust coming through here. Scuttle all does look good, but you never know. You just never know. Again, inside the arches, I will take all the wheels off and show you this again, but it's all clean. It's very clean. Underneath, you can see there, that's where the rust is. Over seal, and as we get to the back, there's a bit of rust coming through on the where it joins the heel board. Few little spiders of rust here and here, but again, generally it's okay. So yeah, looks all right. There's a few bits in the wing, sorry, in the roof. Rear quarter again there, and then just a few little minor pieces through here. And then on the roof, a few scratches, which I can see them, but you probably won't pick them up on camera. There's a few dents in the roof. They look like stone chips have hit them and it's dented in. I've been filled in with a touch up. There's another one there. And then there's a few bits and pieces around the lip that I've seen. So yeah, that's the outside. I will show you underneath what I got once I've got it on the jacks. So interior, these are actually navy or very dark blue. Door cards, seats, dash liner, dark blue, black carpets, black lining on there and there. Needs a bit of tidying up on the seat where it's just torn there, but generally the seats are in good condition. Door cards are in good condition. And then, so that is my issue there. Obviously I'll show you more when I strip it all down. And there's the hole. I actually put a screwdriver through that. There's the FF number plate there. So this is an original matching number car, Alex. It's very understated. Just some bits and bobs in the boot there. So that's my S.